sure that everyone in the audience can hear me. My name is Nadia Shamsi. I'm with the Marcom team here at BenQ and our Plano office. We are hosting today's April's webinar with Amber Teamann and Norma Olsen. They both are presenting today, so you will have a great informative session with us this morning, and we're glad to have you here. Just a couple of housekeeping items. We are recording this session, and we will be sending out the recorded session, the presentation, and all later this week for you to have that as well. So no need to worry to take notes and everything. We will provide you everything that you would need after the webinar. A couple of housekeeping items. We do have a giveaway item, our digital signage for 2 of our lucky attendees. We just need to make sure that you're staying through the webinar all the way through the Q&A session till the end to be qualified to put your name in the drawing for the giveaways. Other than that, let me go ahead and introduce you to our presenter today. I am really excited and stoked to have Amber Teamann join us today. She's the Executive Director of IT and Innovation at Crandall. She's very passionate and a great advocate of progressive teaching methods to make classrooms very inviting and interactive for students and as well as teachers to really be able to do their thing and teach in class. She is also a very passionate brand ambassador for BenQ, and we are lucky to have her here. I'm gonna go ahead and let Amber get started. Amber, if you're ready, I am.
All right, I am ready. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Brand ambassador just means I'm a huge fan of BenQ and what it has done in the classrooms that we have here in Crandall ISD. We are in the middle of a district-wide technology refresh, and we're replacing all of our projectors with our BenQ boards. And so it has been transformational. I don't know of any other initiative that I've done where I've actually gotten emails from teachers saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, some of them had emailed in a panic before they said thank you, so that works out well. But we again are super excited to be able to work with BenQ and progressive teaching. I am an elementary principal at heart, former teacher, and so to me, progressive teaching is what we need to do in order to meet and engage needs of our students, right? So we know that their attention spans are a little bit different thanks to the ticky-tockness of our world, and these BenQs certainly set the stage for a different learning environment. These whiteboards allow in a way that hasn't ever been done, at least when I was a teacher. We had a chalkboard, we had a whiteboard, but for me to be able to bring up students to a whiteboard and allow them to contribute simultaneously, they can do it from their seat, from their devices. They can come up to the board, up to 5 students, and be able to work simultaneously, concurrently. As the teacher, you get to walk around and manipulate and move and have your way with what they're doing too. I think that having a student be able to contribute in the front of the classroom and another student be able to be interactive and efficient in their seat works out incredibly well, especially in our secondary classes. Very cognizant of my non-ambulatory students for my students with special needs, and these abilities that collaboration within your whiteboard space really allows a connection to be made that I had, again, not ever seen before. Back in the day when I was a teacher, you know, we would do video calls or calls via Skype to connections with global classrooms. But what happens now whenever you can share your screen across the world, and if you're learning a language or if you're doing a historical lesson, there is just a cultural exchange that can occur when you're working with your BenQ, with your digital whiteboard. A global awareness that a textbook or a worksheet just isn't going to engage and connect in the same way that some of these capacities and capabilities can be provided. You can go to the next one, Medea.
All right.
Again, collaboration. Obviously, we know that students learn best when they have constant and consistent feedback. digital whiteboards, you can observe a student's work as it unfolds. You get to provide some real-time guidance. That immediate response really helps reinforce those correct practices, and you can redirect misconceptions before they take root. I particularly love, again, in this season of life that we're in, that our teachers can record what's happening on the screen, and the students can have that uploaded to a learning system. We use Google Classroom. Those videos can then be uploaded to the teacher's Google Classroom, so even parents and students can see, here's what we were thinking, here's where we were redirected. It creates that dynamic learning environment. But for a parent, I have a fireman at home that tries to do that 8th grade math, and it's just not quite the same thing. So for her to be able to watch a video of what a lesson is supposed to look like, and then my husband or I be able to jump in and support, again, that's meeting the needs, tailoring instruction for feedback moment by moment. You also, again, have to consider those communication tools. Your ability here for anybody who has a different modality of learning, if they need kinesthetic, if they need to get up and touch, if they need to manipulate and move, and they need to use the pen. For my young learners, my kindergartners who might not quite have grasped that pencil grip yet, their ability to use their fingers and circle and stretch and move really, again, provides a back and forth conversation with educator and students. And I think that that is something that is different than bringing you up to the whiteboard. But between the different tools that you can overlay and the different highlights and circling and all the things that can happen, every learning style can be met with a digital whiteboard. Can go on, Medea. All right, so now let's think about some individualization. Again, we know that basically every student has their own personalized learning path. I like to think that they all have their own IEP, something somewhere that they need support and love on. Every journey is going to be unique, but that allows this whiteboard, whenever they can connect via their Chromebooks, via their devices, to project on that screen. You get to advance concepts, you get to lower concepts, you get to pause where you're at and jump onto the other side and take it up or take it down. Again, the personalization allows that one size fits all. If you're just using a Google slide, you're kind of limited. But within this whiteboard, you have the flexibility to really, really define what each student needs. And then again, when you talk about interactive learning, I was in a 2nd grade classroom last week, and they had questions about some vocabulary words that they had never seen before. So instead of the teacher finding a Google image, a Google search, she just went back within her files where they had some digital images from what curriculum had provided. And the students got to come up and circle and highlight and underline. They got to zoom in, they got to zoom out. That teacher was going to then teach the lesson to the next class. She just shoved that whiteboard over so that when the next group came in, she could introduce one by one that ability to be engaged, to be interactive. And again, I think that passive observation is just a thing of the past. We want dynamic learning, and it doesn't get much more dynamic than interactivity. Go to that next one. If you think about, again, progress tracking, we know that we unfortunately have those standardized measures hanging over our heads, and you get to now watch and participate as an educator within instant progress tracking. So you get to see and do and intervene whenever is necessary. Again, I know that Norma is going to do a hands-on piece here later, and so some of this way that she can show this step-by-step of ability for a teacher to engage and interact as students are completing different activities. If you had 3 or 4 students at the board for a center for some small group instruction, even with something as simple as phonics, having the students be able to track and place and the teacher standing there, that video can then be recorded and used in your teams. If you've got a new teacher, if you want to make sure that your lesson was on par with what's happening in other classrooms, you again have that ability within your digital whiteboard. And again, accessibility is very important to me. One of my favorite features of that BenQ was the fact that it would allow all of our students to be able to be engaged. And there's something to be said when, whether you are 5 years old, 5 feet tall, or a senior in high school, that you are going to be able to feel as if your learning has been flexible, it's been inclusive. The lessons and things that can be stored and created and saved within some of the activities on your digital whiteboard are things that can be loaded into a classroom, shared with parents, shared for reviews or tutorials. There are a number of ways that they make it easy, because ain't nobody got time for that, but it allows you to access and do what needs to be done in whatever setting it needs to be done. Go ahead, Medea. And again, we want to make sure that this is not just a projector replacement. We wanted to make sure that they saw that we wanted a multimedia content integration. I wanted to see a video. I wanted to see, even if it's an image of the worksheet that you guys are currently working on sitting on your desk. And then I've got some blank space over here where I've got students up at the table working on what they're doing. Everything can come together on this platform, and it really makes it an immersive experience. And that's something that's difficult to do. If you're floating the power zone and you are really trying hard to keep all of those students up and involved, the easiest way to do that is to send them to the whiteboard and have them do what needs to be done. But science with 3D models or interactive timelines, you've got math opportunities with graphics that are unreal, especially compared to a worksheet in a textbook. Lots and lots of opportunities. Content that can captivate. Finally, well, not finally, but cross-curricular, again, making sure that you know that there are the abilities to connect within all of your Google Suite stuff. And our curriculum is housed in Google Drives. And so for my teachers to be able to manipulate and bounce back and forth between what is in that Google Classroom, if it's a math lesson, if it's literature, if it's science, if it's art, everything can be pulled in, and to be able to overlay those different concepts so that students see that it is seamless, that learning is not just in cute little box of math and ELA and ELAR and any of those pieces, but instead they get to have that critical thinking and integrate fully and immersed within whatever grade level it is content you're teaching. All right, and then last but not least, again, these stepping stones of skill development, if your students are manipulating content and going through the hierarchy of Maslow's as kindergartners, think of how much more confident they're going to be in their ability if they are able to get up and manipulate and have their way with this technology in an environment that is, again, not extra, not above and beyond, but is immersed and grounded in educational achievement. That's our goal. We never want technology to be something that's standalone that you have to learn in addition to the content that you're already held accountable for. But again, these digital skills, navigating these digital skills, give students the ability to see what it is like to be a grown-up, because we use these. I've got one in my office. The ability to connect and share is something that I think all students need to have access and exposure to. And again, instead of having to sit with grading and piles of grading, there is some really good assessment opportunities within here. There is instant grading, automatic feedback, data collection, all within the interactive whiteboard. And I know that Norma has a great plan to show all of those pieces. But if I'm leading a PLC as an administrator, or if I'm trying to present a student for RTI or for some kinds of suggestions, being able to have all of my pieces and resources at my fingertips just makes a world of difference. Gone are the days of having to peel back the anchor charts 5 layers deep. You now can have digital anchor charts that are available and accessible and shareable across collaborative teams, which again, I think every single second that we can save our teachers, our educators, we need to harness and take advantage of, and your digital whiteboard is the perfect place to start.
Wow, thank you, Amber, for such an informative 20 minutes of information that teachers all across the board can utilize, teaching their way, their content to the students without any hiccups, interacting and utilizing technology as well. I really appreciate you going over those touch points and really enhancing and informing teachers how the interactive whiteboarding can be so helpful, not only to teachers as a resource, as a tool, but also really engaging those students within the learning process. So I appreciate you going over that. Now we're gonna introduce Norma Olson. She is Key Partner Manager at BenQ and comes to us with over 20 years of experiences in instructional technology and asset management. We are lucky to have her here. She has great knowledge and also has a goal and is on a mission to enhance teaching and learning outcomes through technology and helping teachers teach their way all across the board. She caters to our Texas and Oklahoma market, and I am excited to have her here to do a live demo on EZWrite and kind of touch points that Amber has already talked about and show you how EZWrite can really move things along and help teachers teach their way. So without further ado, Norma, you may join in and give us a quick live demo for us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for introducing, and I'm glad you're here today. I'm going to do a live demo here and kind of touch base on
Norma,
EZWrite.
give me just 1 second. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that, Norma. I just want to make sure that everybody is able to see your screen. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Again, I'm going to be doing an EZWrite presentation, and everything seems to be backwards. You're okay there? Okay. All right, so let's get started. A key thing to remember with EZWrite, the digital whiteboard software, is I'm going to do a couple of overviews, and then I'm going to show you the instructional pieces. First, I want you to take note that in EZWrite, we have a menu bar, we have a toolbar here that's in the center, and then we have a navigating bar here, and it has lots of tools there. But let's go ahead and go on. We also have a writing piece as well. And so the pen itself can do a lot of different features, like just the colors, the highlighter, the dual pen, and some other areas. And then we have the eraser feature too. And the eraser feature is going to be shown to you, and you can use an eraser, or you can use a strike-through erase all using your palm or your hand. Now, we have some AI technology, and so this is where I'm going to kind of show you that communication piece that Amber was talking about. So it's handwriting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write hello here, and I'm going to use the select tool, and I'm going to select that. And what's amazing is I've lost my kindergarten writing. So what I'm going to do is use EZWrite to be able to recognize that as a font here. And then we get a lot of different other key areas here. And again, I'm going to go through the AI technology, and where it will actually read the text for us. And then it will also translate, and I've got it translating to Spanish. So very easily, what's amazing is that the BenQ can easily translate and be able to do that speech to text. Some other things, I'm going to get to the collaboration piece. We have an excellent team post, which is an awesome feature of our product, or our EZWrite. So in the EZWrite piece of it here, I'm going to just open a blank one, and I'm going to go into my resources here and choose team post. And for today, I'm going to do 3 teams. This is a great way to get the kids engaged and up to the board very quickly. And for simplicity today, I'm going to just do a question 2 plus 2. And then I'm going to set that, and it goes across all the boards. So you can easily have 3 students up here choosing different colors, and then being able to answer those very easily. Now think about that. You could take this and do a KWL, a beginning, middle, and end. The teachers will love this particular team post, and they will be able to utilize that quite a bit. And this can be saved at any time, so you can refer back to it. That's one of the collaboration pieces. Another collaboration piece is we have our sticky notes, and all of our collaboration pieces are here in this box here. And when you notice that the sticky notes, and then we have some templates here. So you'll notice that we have some shapes as well, and the templates as well. So let's take a look at one of our templates. So this is kind of like a Venn diagram, and notice that I could have the students come up and start writing and doing some certain things on and filling out that board. But you can start to see how key that is to be able to have the students up here and engaged with one of the templates. All right, let's take another look at another tool. We have lots and lots of backgrounds to be able to utilize with our board. Backgrounds are found in this little icon here in the back, and you'll notice it, I've blown them up here so you can start seeing them, but you have great backgrounds. And so being that our system is tied to your cloud services, which is your Google Drive or your Microsoft, you're able to go into those backgrounds and actually click and add your own backgrounds. So that is really key because you have certain templates and certain things that you would like to bring in. So for example, here I brought in a content map, and you'll notice that, let me bring that in again because I was supposed to go to a blank page. But bring that in again for you, that concept map. So here I'm able to bring that in, use my pencil and my note cards, and be able to fill in that very quickly. Another one is that we have a cloud whiteboard. Now in your cloud whiteboard, those are key areas to be able to get those users engaged from their Chromebooks or even outside the classroom. Now what happens is you have this plus key here, and this is where you open it up and you're able to go into starting a whiteboard, and that will give you a URL or a QR code that you can put in. You can even invite your students with that URL straight to Google Classroom. And once you have that up, you can start how you can host a session. But what's even magical is that when the students come in, it's going to come in via your naming system. And then they'll have a list of participants. They can raise their hand. They can actually disable, enable if they have tools they can write with. And so our cloud whiteboard feature in our EZWrite is really key to be able to do that collaboration inside and outside the classroom on any devices. Another key area that Amber had mentioned was being able to capture and record all of your lessons that you do on the on your whiteboard. So here, I just wanted you to see down here at the bottom is that red button, and that is your record. Our panel has an 8-way microphone, which is fabulous to be able to pick up the audio and anything else you're doing on the board. And how easy it is to be able to share those resources after you record in many different ways, through a QR code, through email, PDF, and all sorts of ways. But don't forget, the key thing is to be able to get those lessons right to your LMS. If Amber uses Google Classroom, but there's many of them out there. So once you save it, it goes straight to your cloud or your Google Drive or your Microsoft Suite. So that's really key. All right, some activity keys and activity tools that we have. We have a lot of them. They've been shared with, we've gotten the ideas from teachers because these are the tools that they need on the whiteboards so they can have them at their finger. I remember that they are in a toolbox because we have lots of tools that we use as educators. So in the toolbox, we have lots of different tools here. So a few of them, we have a timer, a scoreboard, we have a stopwatch, and then the random pick is my favorite because I can put as many students I have and it randomly picks them by a number system. But guess what? We have math tools available. We have geometry tools, all of the things that, again, as a math teacher or an educator, that you need them at your fingertips to be able to do that. And remember, those are all found in our toolbox on the resource tab. All right, one of my favorite things is a split screen. Teachers love to be able to show 2 different things at one time. So let's just get to a white page. It's in my resources, but watch what happens when I click Chrome. It automatically makes it in the multi-window. And then, so I have my whiteboard over here, and then I have my Chrome tabs that I've already opened. Because we're Google certified, we're able to stay logged in even when we close our panel, and it saves all of our Chrome tabs. That's excellent. And just to make things simple, you just click and drag, and now I can have the frog image over there that I can do lots of different things with. Or I can simply use my AI technology, and I could take this image, and wow, look what happens. I have that OCR, And what I can do is take the text out of that image, and now I have all that text. And remember what we can do with that text? We can have it read to us if we'd like. So very simply, in that particular key area, is that I wanted you to see just another key thing that you can do about multi-screens. All right, I'm finishing it up here. I know we're going to get finished here in just a second. Any device that you would like to bring in. Amber really taught about, you're going to teach the way you are, the way you teach. So you're going to have a document camera, you're going to have different types of digital files, you might even have a worksheet. So what you can do in EZWrite is bring in that camera. So check this out. If I go here, I'm going to open a white page because it's easier for you to see. But right here, I can bring in any resource into EZWrite. So today I'm going to show you that piece where I could bring an external camera, which is right over here, similar to your document camera. So I can make this larger, and so I can use this and interact again with my pencils, my eraser. I can even bring in some note cards to be able to do some reveal, and I can actually bring a template in. I can make this a little bit smaller. So if I was doing a science experiment, I could have this space where I could write maybe 3 questions that I want the students. And don't be afraid, this can actually be a YouTube video if you'd like to overlay that as well. All right, so the key thing to remember is that EZWrite is a whiteboard software that comes with your BenQ panel that's Google certified, and that you can utilize that on your board and on your laptop, because you can design with EZWrite as well on your laptop. Now we're going to go to a live Q&A session.
Thank you, Norma. I really appreciate you doing a quick live demo and really tying in those key points that Amber had hit through her presentation. Just FYI, this was not a full complete demo for the EZWrite. EZWrite has tons more capabilities and features that if you want to learn more, please reach out to us. We will be more than happy to get you connected with a KPM in your region to give a full, more in-depth demo for that. But we are going to open the session for Q&A. You are welcome to type in your questions, and we will take them as they come along. Both Amber, our FAEs, and Norma are here to answer your questions. So I would like anybody, whoever has any questions, please go ahead and type in your questions and we'll go over that.
Okay, we had a couple of questions that came in during Amber and Norma's session. We did have somebody ask if they would have access to any sort of information from this session. I believe our plan is to also include a recording of this session after the webinar, so for tomorrow. There are a library of tools and information. I shared the link in the group already to the BenQ Academy. So if you haven't already had a chance to get in there, please make sure you check it out. We did have a question come in from Lourdes. She says, will you provide a teacher guide for us? Do we have a teacher guide, Norma? I think we have something that has.
Yes, everything that I have shown you today is straight out of our EZWrite guide for teachers. So we will make for sure that that link is also shared with you, and it is a complete guide of all the tools that we have in EZWrite. So we'll send that out with the email.
Perfect. We also have another one. Is this version of EZWrite going to be available on the O2 version of the board?
Yes, so the EZWrite is available on the existing boards, and again, we will have also the updated version as well on your laptop as well, or your devices.
Okay, and then we had another one. Somebody, Daniel, is asking, it would be great to see a quick example of how to use the assessment tool.
the assessment tool. So the idea is that the assessment tools are set up through your Google, your Google products. So for example, if you wanted to be able to use a Google form or some type of assessment, you would utilize that in your Google Suite. Some other assessments are our casting. So being able to cast through the board and being able to capture all of that assessment on demand. So for example, there's Quizlet, and there's an app as far as all the major apps that are for quizzes or for some other documentations are available for a download on our panel in the 04 EDL certified board.
Okay, perfect. We had another question from Justin. He goes, are all BenQ boards capable of upgrading to EZWrite 6 or only the newer boards? I think we kind of already hit on that a little bit.
So I think the key thing to remember is that with the EZWrite, there's a couple of, there may be a few differences. Like for example, in your 03 model, you're going to have the multi-window and be able to display certain, that side by side. And then in the 04, where we're allowed to put the Google certification apps into EZWrite, you'll be able to use it within that toolbox. So the key thing is everything is you're able to do those things. You just might need to be able to, you might be able to do it in a different area. So the key thing to remember is if it's a Google certified board, you're going to get those apps available within your EZWrite. If it is not, which is the 03 and 02, you'll be able to do that on your board in a different way. And we can definitely follow up with you on those steps.
Perfect. We had another question. When translating from English to Spanish or vice versa, can one go back and forth on the same word for reinforcement?
Absolutely. And you'll handle that through the settings so that you can pick if you want to translate to Spanish, English to Spanish, or Spanish to English. It's literally just 2 clicks to make that transfer. But absolutely, the key thing to do is to remember is that I can copy and paste or duplicate that word. Now I did one word, you could do a whole paragraph as well, but you could actually duplicate that and you could have one in English and one in another language on the same whiteboard. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Wonderful. We had a question for Amber, who's still with us, just off camera right now. What was the training plan for teachers when you rolled out your BenQ boards?
Yeah, is Amber still there, or would you like me to speak to that?
You can speak to that. I'm sorry. It looks like she got bumped up.
Okay. I was very fortunate to work with Amber on that rollout. And so we customized it a little bit. We, as a company, really believe that training is very key for that. So as for Crandall, what we did is as the installs were happening, we made for sure that we did a pre-training, and then we did a training, an hour orientation training with each group of teachers that received their boards. And then we did some final training, and we're in that second phase where we're actually doing more of the training with curriculum specialists, coaches, and the leadership, and then we will follow back up with initial training to help those teachers go to the next level after their orientation training. So for Crandall ISD, they're stepping that through, starting with an orientation training and then working with curricular and coaches to take the panels to the next level.
Perfect. Okay, and then can you use casting from your computer through InstaShare on one side of the split screen and another app on the other side?
Absolutely, you can do that. When you open up the InstaShare app, you can put that in a multi-window and it will lay side by side with your EZWrite, which is fabulous because I've seen a lot of secondary teachers where they want to have that presentation open, but have a place where they can engage the students during their lessons. And again, remember, all of that is recordable. And so with the 8-way microphones and being able to capture your audio and saving that on your Google Drive or your Microsoft products.
Okay. We had another quick question from Corey. How can you change the language to translate it within EZWrite?
Okay, let's take a look at that. It's going to be on your settings in your EZWrite in your settings. So you will go to the settings icon, and in your settings you have several things here. And you'll go down here and it'll have Google Translate, and you just simply go in there and you switch it to the language that you would like to translate.
Okay, wonderful.
And what's beautiful is that will be in the EZWrite guide that we're going to share, these steps.
Okay. All right. I think those are the questions that I have so far. If there are any more questions, if anybody would like to add anything to the chat.
I see Shannon.
I'm answering.
Okay. Okay, I don't see anything.
The really easy way for everyone to understand if your board is the Google certified EDLA model is if you received it after January 1st, basically, of this year. Because Google didn't open their Play Store and their capabilities to any of the board companies until January of this year. If you previously had had access to the Play Store, it probably meant you had an OPS computer slotted into your board, which is a great way to upgrade some of the previous models of the board. We do have those available. But if you have an 04 board, which were not delivered or sold until January of 2024, those are the ones that come with the EDLA capability baked into them. So I hope that helps clarify for a couple of people who've had questions regarding which version do I have? I don't know which version it is. Hopefully that answers your questions.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and see. We don't see any more questions coming in. Norma and Amber, I would like to thank you both for taking the time out of your schedule to host this amazing webinar. It's such great information and hands-on technique to show all what's been talked about. We really appreciate you taking the time out to do so. Once again, as a recap, everything that's being shared through the webinar today is recorded. We will be sending out an email, a thank you email with the recording, with the PowerPoint presentation. And as Norma had mentioned to you all earlier, that we will be also including our EZWrite handout that goes over the details and features of that as well towards later this week with all of that to you. With that said, I would like to give the rest of the time back on your calendar so you can go about your business. We are happy to have you again today, and we look forward to seeing you guys next month. Thanks. Have a great day.